Just the dope ass podcast. Pew, 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 pew. Just the dope ass podcast. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, yeah. This is pretty consistent. What is this? This back to back weeks? Am I tripping?
Probably. I'm back. Yeah,
Damn,
back to back.
damn niggas. Y'all
And
got
we've never not. We've been off schedule or off routine, but we haven't been inconsistent.
yeah.
People got spoiled for us doing this shit literally every week for 6 years. So
Yeah, I didn't wasn't like it was like a billion, but I had a few like the first couple times we like miss like y'all good? Like I'm not dead. Like, oh, thank you for
yeah,
caring. I appreciate that.
yeah, I appreciate you
That's nice.
checking. Well, they check in on you. Don't nobody say shit to me.
It's usually
Unless
honestly like the ones that I pay attention. Like it was one time even just on like a one of the YouTube posts, and it was like Kenny came through and it was like glad y'all back. I was like, where the fuck did we go? Oh shit! All right, my fault. My fault,
my
man.
bad, man. I didn't know. I didn't know that y'all was monitoring.
You know what I always forget too? Like I be forgetting like my friends have like genuine careers. I be talking to him like off and on like weekly, and then like every now and again I like peruse a nigga page, and he just be like on the field somewhere, and I was like, this nigga's a fucking journalist. I forget like it just be like not a bullshit one. Like a lot of you motherfuckers is just got to pay. That nigga's a journalist for a sports journalist. Be sitting there. It's too y'all like we just give Beeves the fucking chaos. Beeve be in them fucking rooms raising his hand and shit. Like you be sitting there, it's your favorite athlete. It's motherfucker Matthew Stafford up there answering questions. And you be sitting there go, wait a minute, who the fuck? I know this nigga. I guess just this voice off screen. I know this nigga. Just casually asking, like really so when you was on the field, does it ever traverse the play? Be having full conversations, man. This nigga in the background, you just walking, people catching this nigga in the background on ESPN and shit. My niggas are doing shit. That's all I'm trying to say, man. Like,
Oh, I mean, thinking about that, a quick thought made me, or a quick thought that flashed through my mind is like, I'm recognizing more and more as we get older, like we know what our friends do to a degree, but we don't really know the extent or influence or reach that our friends have because we don't always talk about it. And you don't always have the ability to get with each other, especially once everybody kind of had a whole family or relationship or whatever situation going on. But it's like you should have a take your homie to work day. Like you take your kids to work, they should have a
I
take your
go.
friend to work or something. And it's like bring your friend with you to work and nobody gonna say nothing and they get the same amenities you got just to see what it's like.
This nigga Eric made a movie. He's in a movie,
Mm,
and Kelvin be on red carpets, just talking to fucking uh uh, uh all of them. I don't. I started to have. I don't have no, like, all of them. Whatever your celebrity is, and they be talking to this nigga like they on like first name basis. Just fucking. I don't know if that's Hollywood bullshit. I'm not, but it looked like they know him for real. They like. I remember you. We talked and shit. He up
yeah.
here. He be up there making small talk with Angela Bassett and shit. Like niggas is out here. Keith's a fucking professor. Never forget that. Like, what's going on?
I think that's kind of an encouragement of like making sure that I'll say from a black perspective, I think that's kind of something that should encourage us to make sure that we maintain our relationships better because we forget community wise how much of a resource we are to each other because we're actually doing things in different fields where we could benefit one another, but we so disjointed or so focused on survival because of the society that we live in and the way things are shaped that we end up forgetting like, oh no, our friends are a plug in some capacity and I need their resources and they need my resources. We actually need to like be privy to what they're doing, be involved in it, be connected with it, the whole 9 yards. But for us as a community, especially the main community that doesn't always have that sense of community like it needs to, or like it traditionally has had in the past. Yeah, like tap in more with your friends and know what they're actually doing for work, not from a business perspective, but like, oh shit, like I got a couple kids I could probably send over to learn with you or work with you, or I know this resource could be good for the people that I'll work with, or whatever. Like, start building our web of community and support and resourcing. to be a whole lot bigger than it's been. That shit is necessary. That kind of goes like I don't know if this was on the docket or not, but whatever. Um, the post I sent you with was it Regina Hall talking about like most men are successful because they're married. Like men have
Mm-hmm.
to have some sort of grounding, but women don't need to have that because they have their friendships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we had talked off air about a different lane of that, but sticking it to this conversation of like how important it is to have friends and being able to connect with them in a different space, especially for us as men, since you're sharing like, oh yeah, Keith and Eric and all these different people. Everybody you named was men, but stereotypically, when it comes to men, we end up having to be the one to separate ourselves from our friend groups more than women do because we're so focused on surviving or maintaining a
Gotta
household or doing
grind.
all these different things. Right. The mentality that comes with being a man is like ostracizing yourself to focus on the grind. And the only thing you really pay attention to is your romantic relationship while you encourage your partner in your romantic relationship to do everything and be connected to as much as they need. And it's like, nah, do that shit for yourself as well. And I think her making that comment kind of highlighted, she has some points in some parts of it, but other parts, you ain't look at the full conversation. But I think what she's highlighting is how men need to do the same thing. Men get so wrapped up in like, yeah, my best friend is my partner. Why? Because I've isolated myself away from everybody just to focus on spending all my time and attention here and taking care of home. When taking care of home means that I should be maintaining my outside relationships as well. So,
Yeah, I think I don't mind. Yeah, I don't shit. Like, we can sit there for a minute. Like I think that was kind of like also my I guess yeah, other side. Because I don't know if I'm like critiquing because like what she said is like a fact. Like niggas, and I've seen people like it's a trip hearing people's I guess intentions behind what they say because there's a lot of motherfuckers who will say that shit as a positive, like
mhm,
you can't be a successful man without a wife, and it's like okay, cool, like. But I do think there is an element of that, like culturally, like of and like on that man shit. And I also fuck you, red pill niggas, just because fuck you guys. Never forget it's always fuck y'all. But that lock in shit is very isolating. And I don't know. And like I think, us and like our group of like that particular group of niggas I just shout out to like it's more or less some pretty progressive thought patterns around there. But like I feel like
mhm.
everybody at least has had their run in with that. You have enough wherewithal and enough community to like hit a wall to where that shit is like this is not effective, but that shit is still ingrained. And like I do think like part of what she said like is highlighting like not that having a not that the part of it where like having a partner help doesn't just help you, but like a part of that where it's like there's cultural pieces to this that like add and fuel that shit of like I don't have friends because I done grown up, man. It's not time for boyish things. I like listen, I've had my tenure on this pod of not acknowledging I am a fucking therapist. Every goddamn time I hang out with it's bullshit. I'm on bullshit time and I want to make bullshit jokes. I say as all the fucking shit y'all like the philosophy of this pod hasn't changed. I will get into the weeds of the traumas and the deep shit and we can get political, but I'm here to bullshit because life is over there. So I'm here to fuck around. And if I haven't seen you in a while, we're gonna talk about how the kids are. And I gotta put it on some fake calendar that doesn't exist. Great, like, yeah, we gotta go get a drink. We do. And when that drink happens, we're on bullshit. Cause I go to work on Monday. Nigga, fuck this. And you need that. You need your community of motherfuckers. Cause while I do believe your partner should be that's another fucking critique I have too. Like, my partner should be my fucking best friend. That's how y'all fucking problem. That's how a lot of y'all got problems. I should want to hang out with this motherfucker. Y'all just be having these sexy motherfuckers that you don't want to hang out with because they suck. But and you suck too. But yeah, you should also have your community of homies and shit. Um, because that's just unhealthy. And also, on the flip side, creating this thing of like, like the idea that like, a married woman isn't as successful with a partner. And I feel like that not untrue. I just feel like that also because y'all be trying to go into this motherfucker just doing the 1920 shit, and that shit's stupid. But whatever.
Yeah, it's very restrictive in a number of different ways. But like from a health perspective, it made me think of like your friend groups are dictated by your health. Because as you saying, like when I do see my people, I'm here to fuck around because I'm serious most of the time. I'm having serious conversation. I'm addressing mental health and things of that nature on a regular basis. So when I'm here to fuck around. And I instantly start thinking of like not just for myself, but different friend groups or different stereotypical friend groups of men where like they fucking around, but it's really just sitting around watching a game or a sporting event or something and drinking and cooking and eating, talking, shooting and shit or whatever, playing cards, playing dominoes. Depends on where you at, where you from. But it's like they're very sedentary alcohol-based interactions.
Mm-hmm.
And then we look at, especially for black men, as they age, we're dying sooner and sooner from stress related health slash medical complications. Because when we do have a second of leisure where we do interact with other people, we're sedentary. We're just sitting, drinking, smoking cigars or weed or whatever else y'all be smoking. And
If
then
it's more than that, yo,
nah, it'd be
hey,
more than that. Hell,
hey, this
slight deviation, it'd be surprising every time I'm in the gym and I see like a little puff of smoke in the air, and I'm like, what the fuck? You couldn't wait till you were done to get a puff of that box in, like in between sets, you hitting that box. That's so common today. That shit is ridiculous. But they
there's a
smoking
side
more than just that.
there's a side to that, and I don't look to like kick uh I guess the weed community back in all the time, but it's like, look, man, this item for shit show, we can do all. There's enough science out there. Like this item is not addictive, but it's like your behaviors are still like on
Hmm.
some fiend shit. Now, I don't have any issue or have any fucking desire to go back and forth about don't smoke weed, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like me personally, I don't have no issue with getting high. I'm a softie. I don't like smoke. Like that shit
Right.
don't feel good. It's a lot of process to get to the all the fucking health shit that y'all say is from the earth. It's perfect. I'm rocking with you. But your desire that before we get some fucking breakfast, like it's
Yeah.
it's 7:15. I go to the gym anywhere between 5 and like 5:30. I shit you the fuck not, blew my mind. Maybe it was Tuesday, whatever. It was somewhere early in the week. I'm getting my shit out the car. I was like, motherfucker, it's dark outside. Do your Scott. This is it just a little fiendish. And I
Yeah.
think, mental healthy. Um, if I heard one nigga say it, I've heard 1,000 niggas say it. Like, I do this to get my mind right. Listen here, champ. I think you should enjoy the feeling just for what it is, but you should get your mind right by getting your mind right.
Yeah.
This is not doing that. This is, numbing it. This is putting it in your back pocket. That shit ain't going nowhere. It is a coping mechanism, and I get it. It's just my little 2 cents, but we should figure out some ways. It don't got to be with me. It don't. It could be with Bob, just William the therapist who is living in fucking Florida. He's living by himself in Georgia. Just nice, quaint house, but he licensed out here. Y'all could just get on this fucking camera, talk by yourself, 50 minutes. Just just a thought.
I mean, it's common how, at least from my experiences, whether it's some of the reentry individuals that I work with at the center or people that I have sessions with, how they don't realize that those are maladaptive coping skills. Like they don't even know that that's what they're doing. They just like, I just like to do it, or I just whatever. I've been doing it for so long, or like how people can be on autopilot in their life. They could be autopilot with their vice too. Like they don't even recognize that when I feel a particular way, I start reaching for that thing. When I start to feel uncomfortable for whatever reason, I'm reaching for it. And it's not even that it's super addictive. I just haven't checked the behavior I keep doing the behavior and it turns into instinct at some point to where I'm not even realizing that I'm doing it. And it's not until we process it, as you alluded to in therapy, where they start to realize that this ain't what you think it is. I'll say at least what came to mind for the gym aspect of it is like social influence. Cause I remember I sent you I don't know what that is. This is some random post I came up to, but I sent you dude's post of him making like his pre-workout and it was just
Oh,
stimulation city. And then
that
it had the chew packet that he put in his cheek or dip packet that he put in his cheek. He had all types of caffeinated
buddy
high.
put it
He put
was
all kind of shit.
pre-workout, it was energy drink, it was candy. He put a Viagra in that bitch. I was like, this thing on drugs, bro.
Yeah,
But
but saying that, like I think some people also may use those vape boxes or whatever mid workout or before workout or whatever the case is, following that trend of like since I want to be a bodybuilder, I need something as an upper when
mm-hmm,
I'm working out to keep me highly stimulated so that I can beast through my workout, not really understanding that's just gonna kill you a whole lot faster. So you're creating an addictive, basically behavior. And then you're also doing it not paying attention to your actual health, which, like I said, it kind of goes back to your friend groups. You surround yourself with certain people and participate in certain activities and interactions based on your health. You ain't gonna see somebody that's natural, holistic, vegan, raw, whatever the fuck, in the gym, kicking it with the broccoli head bro dude that's hitting the vape box in between sets. Like they're not gonna dress the same, they're not gonna work out the same, they're not gonna work out together. Like they don't they're not gonna interact like that unless they see each other at the gym and like say what's up or talk or whatever the case is.
mm-hmm.
But like your friend groups really are dictated by so much. Your health really does dictate so much. Your mental health dictates so much. And we be on autopilot. We don't even recognize that we're living in a fascist country right now. So we definitely can't recognize
Um,
ourselves. We don't recognize shit. We don't understand shit. It's just we lost in a number of
you
different
know, if you
ways.
don't recognize it, I'm gonna start to think you agree with it. Because at this point, shit, I wouldn't even, and I don't plan to. I know we didn't politic y'all asses for the last couple, but shit, I think it was just today. Buddy said, "I'm just packing up motherfuckers and sending them to Portland for reasons," and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. The Secretary of War is just God. We so corny. I just want to get all the generals and admirals together so we can have a discussion about
About what?
what? That just I look, man. That just sound like between that and then them saying like Antifa, which is not a centralized thing at all. That just means anybody could be that being labeled as a terrorist organization. It just means seem like you know everybody they want everybody to be on their best Stephen A. Smith because yeah, look, Stephen A. said watch your mouth, okay, because you don't want to get in any trouble because that's bad. Look at
Yeah,
those
no,
Mr. Straight Shooter.
I'm gonna leave him. I want to leave him alone because he a bruh, so I'll be trying not to let him.
Man, it's tough. He boy,
Between him and Steve Harvey and some of these other fools here and there, they be making us look bad. I mean, we still got DL. DL be trying to hold us down, but god damn it.
yeah, man. Look, yeah, DL be swinging for the fences. I will say that I think DL, especially if I'm just speaking politically, DL be swinging off every don't miss it. I be thinking I post a lot. DL don't miss a day. DL go fucking 5 times a day to tell a motherfucker they doing some shit just completely off Richter. Interviews and like interviewing, you want to get some shit off so bad. That motherfucker did an interview one time driving. I said he mad as fuck.
Oh yeah, I've seen that a few
He
times.
mad as hell.
He be in a car, he ready to say some shit. I don't give a fuck where I'm at. Plug me in. I got the headphones. Let's do it.
Yeah, him, he for sure. I think his energy at least counteracts it balances the karma for Stephen A for sure, at the very least. Um
Now,
probably I throw Ali Sadiq in there.
yeah,
He balances the scales.
he tries to do a little something from what he can do.
Yeah, he
You know,
says enough
he's
real nigga shit.
yeah, he's gonna have a different perspective. I think with certain comedians, especially black comedians, at some point in their age, they pay attention to politics more because they're older. they may not be fully informed of it, but they're starting to be more informed than they were. 'Cause I think just in general, part of being black in America is you're going to pay attention to politics mildly just because it's always affected us. It's always something, one of the many things that we have to be hyper vigilant of because it's add that to the list of shit that's trying to take us out. So we're aware of it, but we may not be fully informed or involved or whatever the case is. But as you get to a certain age, especially I'll say post 36 and up,
Mm-hmm.
you just start caring about it more. And then say somewhere around 40, 45, you may not be a political person, but you paying attention to the bullshit more because you kind of have to, like coming from a certain
I,
generation and bringing up other generations.
I didn't mean to politic y'all up, but I might have lied because it is what it is. I just always
Mhm.
these a couple of these conversations been like I always think it's just I don't know, man, like bullshit. As much as I started out my little collegiate career like in that space, I definitely feel like personality wise, I'd have never lasted. I'd have just been a real angry talking head, kind of like
Mhm.
kind of like now. Um, because I just if you're gonna be like a honest, good person or whatever, like even when I think about like the comedians and shit, it's like a motherfucker love to get up on the shit and be like, I was influenced by Carlin and Dick Gregory and I love Richard Pryor. And it's like, well, funny thing, like there was jokes, but there were also like relentless commentaries on what was going on in society. So you kind of can't be like the slapstick, whatever nigga, and then say you super fucking with these niggas. And then also like the just era of like the like the Rogan verse type niggas, like
Mhm.
all the motherfuckers who did everything they could to get Buddy elected. Now, like they be saying shit like, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. Oh, what did you hear?
Yeah.
Damn, fuck out of here. Like, and them and grown-ups that are like, I'm not super into politics. Hey man, look, you don't have to know like how everything is going through or passed. You don't have to know the ins and outs of legislation, but you a active grown person. Like it was some stupid ass rapper that came out with all this shit today. I forget his name. God, I'm fucking I'm unk like a motherfucker. Uh it was some nigga, and he was like, I fuck with Donald Trump politically, not everything else, but like as a economically, as a nigga with money, it makes sense. I'm like, bro, Jesus, man, come the
Yeah.
fuck.
You don't understand shit. Yeah.
What is this nigga?
But I mean, it's to a degree they eating themselves. But I saw like even this week, you know it's bad and it's not working when like we've talked
Peasy. I
about
don't
it.
know who Peasy is, but that's who said it. I don't know who that
Uh,
person is.
uh, the name sounds kind of familiar. I don't think it's from anything that I give a shit about, but no shout outs to you, my nigga. But you know it's bad when like I saw a post this week of Rob Schneider like, yeah, we got to get our shit together. Because let's find a way to create a way for immigrants to be here legally. Because we're losing work and we're not gonna go do it. Let's just be real. We need them to do the work here, so we need to figure out a way to help them be legal. We need to find a middle ground. Like if he's super Trump supporter and all this other stuff all these years, and he's saying, "Hey, this shit ain't working. We need to like," and some of the people in the audience booed him. He's like, "Boo all you want. This is the reality. Like it's real shit." That's the beauty of America. We can say what we need to say and have free speech, but we need to alter some of the shit that we're doing. I'm with y'all, but this ain't working. And
That's
so
why
it's bad when the super supporters are like, yeah, we got to make some changes.
That's why somebody can never really tell me like anybody and their mama can miss me with the conversation about like it was different politics that got you here because they were never there. I just feel like whatever hate drove you here, like you have to deal with that. And I feel like people aren't required to like. I ain't saying you have to just be super with it. I mean, but I don't feel like anybody has to like be extra. Oh, that was a rough patch in life. No, man, you showed just signs of who you were as a person. Because like Rob getting up there, and I saw something that was like it was a conversation he was having. I want to say he was having it with fucking Jordan Peterson, another motherfucker who just it's a lot
Mhm.
going on that side, yo. That's such a crazy fucking just group sphere to be a part of. And a motherfucker over there that just be making sense, period. That shit crazy,
Well,
yo.
cults don't make sense. You're not
It,
supposed to.
and it is just, I just feel like y'all didn't have enough experiences. Like I wish I had a better way to just not, there's a bunch of things, but y'all should have, man, get you some ass, boy. Because like it just all every time they be sitting up there talking, it just always be boiling down to you never like you never had no just fun experiences, and that's your daddy fault, bro. Like y'all like my shit was cool. My shit was cool, man. Like I look at old pictures and like here's he was a cool nigga, man. I had a fun time throughout like middle school and high school. Y'all never was out on the fucking blacktop. Some of y'all never even went to the blacktop. You know what I'm saying? You never had Alicia's big brother come like punch you. Like you needed those experiences. You needed to go to the dance, bricked up. She be like, it's fine. Like y'all didn't get no kisses at your like you didn't have none of those experiences. And that's your fucking problem.
Yeah,
Cause all this
but
shit
that's
be like, we need to get back to an old America. Shut up, man. Damn.
to be unbiased. I'll say in certain ways we do need to get back to older ways of doing things, but not the way that they're talking about. Because what you sharing, some of that comes from our experiences in the '80s and the '90s, early 2000s, and kids don't have that. Even like you saying, like my dad was cool, my dad, but your dad was a black dad, was there, which we've already statistically proven that black dads are the most involved. So when we look at a lot of the faces of these movements, the white Christian nationalists and all this other stuff, it's a bunch of college age white boys that are they're vilified by their emotions. They're not really informed for real. They've been, especially since the pandemic, which was part of their childhood, they were sitting in the house with nothing to do, gravitated towards these charismatic liars on social media and start flooding their brain with misinformation. And because they weren't getting raised by their dads or their parents in general, they were getting raised by electronics and personas on social media. That's who they became. So no, they wasn't out there like doing the breath test, getting caught up in the liquor store before you head into the day. Like they weren't having them experiences because we weren't even leaving the house for real. My outside experience was Fortnite. Like that was me touching grass. That was the closest to
I,
touching grass that I got.
I had this joke with my sister about like because it was a TikTok. I don't know if she sent it to me or I sent it to her, but it was I think that was on the Lions. They were sitting with a kid and he asked the kid, like, what's your favorite cartoon? And the kid was like, cartoon. And he was like, yeah, what's your favorite cartoon? And he was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you don't watch cartoons? Like, I watch YouTube. I say, yo, I I don't think about this all the time, but whenever I think about like kids or conversation comes up with a kid, like the second thought somewhere like in the middle of my brain that shoots to the front is like, I feel like I would raise like some type of weird Neanderthal. And then I had a second thought about like how to raise a kid and not like create some like some prepackaged loneliness for him
Mm-hmm.
because you'd be different. Because I'm gonna watch cartoons. I'm gonna put you on all the fucking cool shit. You're like, the way all the black kids talk about like on any social media platform about like we all are aware of like September 21st just passed. Not a motherfucking nigga I know did not play some Earth, Wind, and Fire. And it's like, damn, nigga, like, how many of you will be around? Positive side, you might find, I'm very adamant about being around amongst my community. So, maybe you just be a bunch of motherfuckers that like me or, whatever. But I think about that like as you move through the world, it's like, damn, y'all be in the you would be like in the severe minority of just being a cool motherfucker because it's a bunch of Fortniters. And also, as a mental health fucking professional, I hate Roblox. I don't like it. I don't support it. It's a lot of weird shit on Roblox. I can't confirm it because
Yeah.
I'm still too unk enough to like I don't play it. I could tell you what's going on and how to maneuver your child through playing Call of Duty, maybe even Fortnite. Roblox is such a weird, and they all play it. And
I mean,
if your
Roblox
kid
is
plays
like this
Roblox, pay attention.
generation's chat room, basically. Like how we had to navigate being wary about all the different types of chat rooms and who you could be talking to and all that other shit. It's the same concept with Roblox, at least from what I've been hearing
Hmm.
this year about how motherfuckers navigate Roblox.
I don't
So
like that shit. Yeah,
it's just it's repeating itself. There's always something you got to be worried of. It's just a matter of with aging, you're figuring out what the new thing to be worried about. I don't want to say worried because I ain't trying to be worried about none of this shit. But what the new thing to be aware is, I'll say that. But the same things have been going on. Like white supremacy ain't nothing new. White Christian nationalist mentality ain't nothing new. Pedophilia ain't nothing new. Kids not going outside and doing X, Y, and Z because they're distracted by whatever the new popular thing. Ain't nothing new. Like it's before it was arcades. Like kids ain't going outside playing. They going to the arcade play these damn video games all day because they want to play Pac-Man and Galaga and pinball. Like, there's always been complaints for every generation about being distracted with some shit, but this generation specifically, and I don't want to say they're regressing or deteriorating because some of them aren't even getting to develop properly in certain areas, but they're
that's
like super advanced in certain areas,
hmm
but they're not advanced in the foundational groundwork to get to that point. So then they're basically just leaning tower of pieces. Like your structure is completely built, but that bitch is off like a motherfucker.
yeah. It's like uh as a nigga, like just almost another just unky unkety unk ass statement. I have done work with kids, whether it's a fucking like a telehealth session or even shit like intakes. Motherfuckers can work a goddamn a laptop and a touch screen like nobody's business. If I take that motherfucker outside and as the something simple like let's work on social skills. Let's walk to the store up the street. Your mom give you like $10. We can go buy. Absolutely a mind numbing, breaking experience. Like, how do I do this? And it's like, motherfucker, I damn near watched you hack the Pentagon when you started this session, and you telling me that's what the fuck? Handing it, yeah, I don't know. Like I be sounding like extra old. Like
No,
I think it's good to have those tools to be able because you live in a technologically advanced society, but take that motherfucker outside. Like you could skip you could at least see me way, way later in life if you go outside, have some interactions, develop those social skills, let that 0 to 5 year old brain get some crinkles in that bitch. That
mm-hmm.
motherfucker extra crinkled in one area and then smooth everywhere else.
Yeah. Part of me is I don't think like the concern that we may have or talk about is completely us getting old, and this may be me getting old. But like I think it's learning what to really be concerned about as you age. Because when you're younger, you might be like, I can't tell you how many clients I have that are in their 20s that are like part of their anxiousness and their depression of how they degrade themselves is comparing themselves to a reality that doesn't exist, comparing themselves to expectations that they didn't create for themselves. It's just what they see on social media because they think they gotta have shit figured out, right? That's part of why the whole grind culture and all that shit was so big when it was, or even like white Christian nationalist mentality is big as it is, because you're trying to figure out who the fuck you are in your 20s. And you're so worried about that and having everything figured out before you get to 30, because oh my God, 30 is so fucking old that I need to have this shit identified between graduating at 21, 22, 23, and having it all figured out in property and all this other stuff in a lifestyle by the time I get to 30 so that I can retire at 40. That's such unrealistic shit. But as you get into your 30s and you start inching into your 40s or in your 40s, you recognize what's really important to pay attention to, and that's what makes you sound old. So it's not, I wouldn't say like we unk status like that. It's just like, oh, we're wiser. Granted, at least for you and I, we've kind of been on that spectrum a little bit sooner than some of our counterparts. But it's just like you get a certain amount of wisdom of understanding what true importance is. Like kind of like within mental health, the self care is me getting my hair and nails done on a regular versus the self care is like no me going to therapy and me prioritizing processing emotions out of my body. Like it's not until you get older or you go through certain experiences where you realize how important that shit actually is, and we're at that age. We in our lifetime, granted, I got a couple of years on you, but in our lifetime think about how much the world has changed. We went from like no internet to internet running
Mhm.
everything and having to master it. And that's maneuver. We went from nothing to green screen, Oregon Trail to fucking burning CDs and porn. And now niggas got OnlyFans and streamings and their whole business is set up. Like we've seen that whole transition in our lifetime. We've seen Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump. Like that's what we've lived through. We've lived through a lot of shit in our lifetime, so we have a lot more experience than the younger generation do. Some of them they only have seen Obama and Trump for real, and didn't really understand
Shit.
Obama, so they don't really know. They're still trying to create an identity based on misinformation, and they don't even know that the information is misinformation. We, on the other hand, have been around long enough to know, oh, that's some bullshit, and I can smell it a
Yeah,
mile
that
away.
made me think too, knowing information. Cause like you used to have to like used to have to be somebody to have like an opinion on shit. It really just be like Todd from like, Michigan, just put his phone in his face and just tell us shit. It's like, fuck is this nigga? Why did you
Yeah,
what the like you used to have to, but that's before, when shit had like integrity, you could like trust, the news, I guess, to a degree. Like you could do it now online. You can still it's still people saying shit. It's just you have to have like the wherewithal to be like, step two, this person said something. Let's go try to like fact or wait for this motherfucker to fact check what they said. Because all motherfuckers who be reporting this shit, they'd be like, yeah, got this study from this. Here's what it says. As opposed
yeah.
to, I'm not gonna lie. I know that they probably exist. I don't be on the fringe, whatever the fringe left version of that, but I do see all the right motherfuckers, and it just be a fucking video of I don't know, man. It's a bunch of motherfuckers that's fighting in the street. Everybody a meth head. That should be like enraged leftist, a mall's conservative mom, and it's like these is both crackheads or some shit. Like who wrote this? And you could just click the button, and if you click the button, you see the original post. You know full well that Libertarian Lord 01022, who's got a page of 50,000 followers, and he just posts terrible videos. You're not even trying. So I just
No,
feel like I just feel like you could just hate honestly. Like to me, to send to engage in that type of shit and not look up where it come from, you could just be like I hate niggas. Like like just like deep south motherfuckers, like I hate them because I hate them. And it's like, cool. We don't even have to talk because this didn't make any sense. I see that sometimes too. Like every now and again, I almost I don't fully regret, but I almost regret some of the memes that I've made. Sometimes that because it's a few of them that out of nowhere have started to catch traction again. But what I meant as to what these niggas is putting in their stories, like, yeah, when I was like, nigga, this was a joke. Are you good? What the fuck? I've
I
shown
mean,
I've shown our faces and this and what we've said. And it's like, so y'all didn't see that. And you
no.
still gonna say that? I didn't because I didn't say it that way. But all right.
I mean, that's the comprehension piece. Like some people, because they've dove into a certain perspective or narrative so much, and they've isolated themselves, kind of going back to the beginning of like men running a lot of these spaces because men are isolated away from interacting with each other because they're focused on survival slash money slash progress slash we'll get into the bad whatever variation of that you want to put in and whatever their romantic relationship is if they have one to begin with, which more times than not, especially for the younger generation, fuck all that, just focus on being successful, getting to the bag, and become something material wise. Don't worry about the women that shit'll come. So it's just you, that hustle mentality or that pressure that you put on yourself and your social media narratives. You're not getting anything different to challenge that. So even when we post stuff or somebody else posts stuff, I've seen plenty of posts where it's like, oh, this is clearly what this is talking about. And I'll see people on either side arguing in the comments like, I can't believe this,
It's
that, and the other, blah,
nuts.
blah. It's like you missed. you missed how this actually makes sense because you're not around people on a regular basis to either challenge what you're used to thinking or inform you of different perspectives to where your brain functions in that way. And I don't think a lot of y'all understand there are parts of your brain where if you're not doing something new or challenging on a regular basis, it starts to deteriorate to the point where it goes away and it affects your functioning. If you are doing difficult shit on a regular basis and challenging yourself, the motherfucker grows. It makes you smarter and it makes you more intelligent and it makes you function better. So like there are parts of your brain that die from doing shit that enables you to not have to change. Even something as simple as looking at a meme and comprehending that bitch for what it's meant for, as opposed to only seeing it through the one monocle lens that you have in your face because you don't really know how to understand shit.
Niggas think that shit only fucking applies to doing push-ups. If you challenge your body enough, what's that nigga stuck? Oh, motherfuckers just want to listen to Goggins yell at them all day. It's like read a fucking book. This shut up.
Read
Um,
a book that's not posted on somebody's page
what's that shit?
about whatever the fuck.
Whatever, man. Read anything that's not some, I don't know, weird right wing manifesto that justifies being a real shit person for no fucking
About
reason.
to say, if that's your stance, yeah, don't read that. If that's not, read it. Like Farrakhan would always talk about, yeah, I read all these books from white supremacists to see what their narrative was. I may be Muslim, but I read the Torah and I read this and I read like inform yourself not just on shit that's in your perspective. Inform yourself on shit that's not your perspective as well, because it helps broaden your perspective. Like I remember I shared years ago, I shared in the group chat like some of the books that I was reading at the time or whatever, and I think the Communist Manifesto was on there. And they were like, "Why are you reading that?" Because it's a well-known book, and I want to see what the perspective is. Like, it ain't. Why do you read the Bible, my nigga? Like, that shit's the biggest fiction ever told. You still reading that shit like it's a historical context. Why
Yeah,
you ain't reading that shit?
that starts to be a thing of mine. I haven't my plan to myself is to get back into my little like because I was killing it. I was doing like a book a month, a little audio book a month, or whatever. And one of the ones I did, like I was doing one of those like lists that come up on like, modern philosophy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, man, let me see what the fucking hype is about. You niggas all act like y'all hyper intellectuals. You go to the fucking YouTube pages, all of y'all is jerking each other off with a bunch of unnecessary syllable words that you didn't have to, like, you didn't have to say that there. It's not that that's not a good word, but but anyways, I did, I did two of the Dostoevsky's. I know I did Crime and Punishment, and I was like, these are cool. Like I see why these are whatever, but the way that motherfucker still was like, man, this was the life changing. I'm like, you built your life off this? Like, you not living like that. Like, you can see where you can get a lot of, philosophical takes from it. You can see where his head was at. Cool, great body of work. And you can apply it and you can take from it and use it in conversation. But I was like, I feel like somebody else to be saying that shit. So y'all can sit somewhere and like, I don't know, man, like double talk a motherfucker like that doesn't fully know what you're talking about, so you can seem like the smartest motherfucker in the room,
Yeah,
or you can tell whoever your proverbial her is, so you can make like it's a lot of insecurity in that group, and then it always turns into like what is a bit of narcissism, like I want to feel, as opposed to just doing some deep work to make you just have the real self-worth, not the fucking bargain brand kind.
yeah. I mean, I think, like, say for me, I'll dive into the self-help space sometimes just to see what popular books people are talking about, and I'll listen to them audiobook wise to see. Everybody be ranting and raving about these books. What's the big deal? What are y'all paying attention to more so in these books than you are in therapy? So I'll listen to some of them and I'll be like, this I could cover this shit in the first session of therapy. This is surface level. It's just it helps what we've talked about on here. People use the language of healing and mental health and self-help and all this other shit, but it's not really providing any in-depth comprehension or learning. It's all surface level feel good shit. I'd be like, y'all ranting and raving about this? The
Listen, man,
listen was only 4 hours. So it's a quick read type book, and it's saying common sense shit. But I also have struggled personally over the years with recognizing that my common sense isn't all common sense. So I have to get rid of that expectation. But still, it don't be as in depth as people rant and rave about. But they're so starved for something and so underfed that when they do get a hors d'oeuvre, they think that bitch is a buffet.
Yeah, I think it be shit with that. That's like, I think some stuff was very good and very profound for where you're at. Like, I I fuck with Don Miguel Ruiz. I fuck with the Four Agreements. That shit was
Mm-hmm.
dope, and it was dope for me when I was like, I read that shit like
Until
early.
you motherfucker started overusing it. Oh my
That
God.
part, like I read it in my early 20s. It resonated with me, and it was like, I'm not like a Captain Quotable, but shit like be impeccable with your word. This gave cool, simple principles that you can put in yourself and you can expound and apply out. I read The Alchemist. I fuck with it. Alchemist was a good book. You take the little lessons in there, apply it to your life. We ripping and running and rolling. Um, the way, some of this shit became popularized and not everybody's just saying, okay, because you just said the Bible shit. It made me think. Hot topics, everybody like recent events. Woo, woo, woo. It made me think of how, as much as there's a lot of discourse around the Bible, what it looks like to use it properly for the betterment of oneself, and what it looks like to just kind of be saying shit out the crack of your ass, which is kind of how people apply a lot of therapy talk. I watched that motherfucking interview with Jason Wilson and Cam Newton, and let me tell you,
Buckle your safety
let's,
belt, kids.
let's see here. I first and foremost, I would like to applaud Cam because I I think I could. I'm not that up my own ass, but like the way that man could post these fucking and don't be really cutting shit and be getting walked. I have faith in Cam. I would like to start it out that I feel like there is room for his growth and betterment into I think he might. I don't know if he'll fool Nick Cannon it because Nick Cannon
Mhm.
said like I like what he said. What he said, I don't know Nick Cannon personally, but what he was talking about on the Breakfast Club, we said last episode, I thought was good. I thought it spoke to him really like hitting that wall, like fuck, I've made some crazy choices, and I was in a good whatever space I was in, but now I'm in a healthier space and I'm using whatever. Cam consistently, I know that the fucking numbers do a thing. I know getting to the bag is motivating, but to the planet, letting X amount of motherfuckers come up here and just put them in the perfect it be yeah. Cause but I think that also is an example of like the stuff we're kind of discussing here about like what it looks like to really like have knowledge of something and use it for what it's supposed to be used for to better oneself, and what it is to just kind of have some shit for wordplay. Because like him and Jason had this really good back and forth, but it was him kind of schooling him. It was a bit of a what that man does, man. I'm a mentor. I'm here to uplift and to put a better spin on like black men's lives, psyches, this, that, and the third, promote growth and so on and so forth. And I'm always a fan of anybody doing anything that is remotely in the space of something therapy or therapeutic. And it looked like you putting them motherfucking dough knobs on the nigga because that's how it will look. Like you are presenting me with something that is not healthy and good. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help you. And that's going to look like me getting off in that ass a little bit. And I think a lot of times, like if it wasn't, I think more, I like conversations like that. And I will give like always Cam, I think, is due credit for having a platform like that because you sometimes will need that opposition. Because sometimes some of the shit can be saying it was like they got into this big Bible back and forth, like they were saying quotes, and Cam said something that if it wasn't Jason Wilson there, and Cam was in his best ego bag, and he had his charisma going and his big hat, and he would have said one of those bars, you would have heard whatever panties is in the room drop, you would have heard niggas go, hell yeah. And it was like, until he goes, that's not what that said. It was a flurry of that's not what that said. That wasn't even the quote. Here's the context to it. Here's how we can apply it to one's life, and here's kind of what you're doing to kind of project and run away from your issues. It was master classes. Also, that nigga Jason got frustrated, and I felt goddamn vindicated because I was like, yeah, because you still need the help, but boy, nigga, if you cut me off one more motherfucking time with some shit that ain't fucking helpful, I swear for God. So if you haven't watched
Yeah,
it, I would say watch it because it was one time where they got back into this back and forth where he was like, "Was Jesus married?" And it was like, "Nigga, that's not the fucking point." And I shit you not, how many times you will have that conversation with somebody who think they know a thing or two about a thing or two, and it's like that's not the point.
that's not the crust. Another, I feel like Jason is one particular interview away from being like, you niggas.
Nah, man, it was that right there. I shit you not. It was a couple times I was like, that's another reason why I was like, man, again, great, absolute if you I know the youth out there, if you didn't actually watch Cam Newton play, you think niggas are like mythicizing like his fucking ability. The shit was Auburn. Nobody on that Auburn team went nowhere. It was him alone, and them niggas won a national champion. I just want y'all to know, like nigga, like you can understand like why he might have like a extra sized ego. It's valid. It made perfect sense. There's a lot of PK shit in there. When the more he talks, you might be able to probably put it in a bit of a religious trauma bag. You can get into the conversation around how some of that extra hyper conservative shit would turn you into like maybe a hypersexual being because they said your natural impulses are bad and you trying to repress that shit while also being the most freakish athlete in the entire fucking state you stay in. And it's the state with the ass. I'm a black quarterback that at the time is fucking unheard of for real. Like not unheard of, but like it's not popping for real. Like he's ushering in and there's Michael Vick, and then it was like crickets, and then you got Cam, this motherfucking phenom, and you're gonna tell me I can't crack no ass because I'm gonna go to hell. I got some, I got some cognitive shit going on in here. I got a lot it's a lot of distance between what y'all say I'm supposed to do and boy, these motherfucking impulses are impulsing. And I'm gonna succumb to them. And now I have probably a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. I got a bunch of fucking kids. I can't control my dick. I'm gonna create a narrative that makes what I'm doing make sense. And now you gonna be up here with a wife and a uplifting community fucking based program and a whole platform based off that it's a lot going on. And I understand you niggas feel like that. And that's why you might young thug it and say you shouldn't go to therapy. It ain't about you not wanting or it is. It is about you not wanting your lady to get a fucking advice to somebody else. Because all you niggas is really insecure. It's not, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but god damn it, this insecurity shit, boy, fuck.
It's, I
I ain't
think
found my
that
specialty yet, but you niggas, I'm getting there because I'm seeing some shit. You niggas
you found it. You haven't had the ability to dive into your niche just yet. Once,
y'all last in a couple of years, boy.
professionally, once them hours get closer to being done and all that, you gonna have your niche. It's there already. You just gotta start tapping
You know
into it.
that meme everybody keeps doing where Robin jumped down, he hold both his ankles and threw them knees through a nigga chest. That's gonna be me, but like for healing. Um,
Absolutely,
yeah,
as you should.
very Batman approach. Batman wants to heal Gotham. Keep in mind, that's why them niggas don't go to jail. Take your motherfucking ass and hit Arkham. And bitch, when you get out, guess you gonna see fucking heal or me. And then we back in there. Keep it up.
Absolutely.
Keep it up.
I'll show you the way. I shall show you the way over time. But I think that's part of like the comprehension conversation we were having beforehand. Because even as you were explaining it, I'm thinking like, damn, there's a spectrum of religiosity or how you interpret Christian information, right? Because you have your, we'll just say white people in general. They're on one side of the spectrum, and then you have whatever your, I don't fucking know, your Jelly Rolls, your Cam Newtons,
Yeah.
your Jasons, your Dan McClellans, and well, probably before Dan McClellan, you might have like your Jasons and then your Farrakhan's, then your Dan McClellans, and then like your whatever John Henrik Clark's. Like that's your spectrum of
Whew.
interpret or understanding when it comes to
Yeah.
just perceiving the story, the fable, the nonfiction of the Bible. I'm saying it that way on purpose. I hope I piss you off. But that's your spectrum of understanding, right? I can be some far right Christian nationalist white person, and I'm going to perceive this same book that all the other people have read completely differently than a John Heinrich Clark. Same scripture, same book, same everything, but I'm interpreting it differently. Partly of what you said because of environmental factors, because of systemic factors, because of my lifestyle. If Cam was, the third string quarterback on the team that was talented, but he was more so focused on academics because I have to sit behind Cam and I know Cam, I ain't about to get no shine. So I'm going to get my education from this school and I'm going to figure out what I can do. He's going to interpret those scriptures differently than Cam, who is Superman of the world right now, right? And that's just from having a slightly different experience in life, which affects how you perceive and receive information. That's another reason why you should take your ass to therapy because we happen to know those differences. So instead of taking I don't like my woman going to therapy, it's pointless. She can tell me everything from a nigga that just, I won't even say he beat a case. He told in order to get out to be able to tell some more bullshit. But yeah, I'm gonna listen to him when it comes to mental health as opposed to a mental health professional. You can't tell that some shit that he's saying is basically a ego based or insecurity based manipulation tactic to make sure that your woman can't learn how to figure out that you ain't the right type of nigga to be with. That's basically what that is. I don't want her to learn to use her motherfucking brain. I want her to be distracted by who I am in this city and the money that I have. And she can come tell me everything because it keeps all the control in my hands so that I don't have to be mistreated. Because although you see him as Young Thug and he has this big old influence in Atlanta, he's still that crooked mouth, fucked up teeth nigga that he was when he was a teenager
That's
before he
Jeffrey.
got all the money. Right.
That's
He's
Jeffrey.
still that nigga on the inside. We just dressed him up more. So that nigga is still afraid that at any point in time, somebody will look at him the same way that they looked at him 20 years ago. So,
Yeah, it's a lot. Like that just made me think when you said the manipulation thing. Hate is a strong word, okay, but like
mhm.
you niggas, it's enough. It's just enough shit out here without just be fucked. Nah, don't be fucked up on your own. Like just don't impose your shit on what I like. Even the other day, and this is why, and I say this as a motherfucker with I'm in this therapy thing in two different areas, right? Um, the amount of time it could take for you to just go do a little bit of scrounging and figuring some shit out before y'all just jump out the window saying some wild shit. Because I made that post the other day, and it was Michael Porter Jr. and that clip that went viral of him going, I don't pay half, or I split the rent with my girl.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
Firstly, I'm gonna address just the piece that made me think about it. Outside of just it being part of the topic thing of like why you niggas should do just watching things. We should watch more things. We should take our time more because I don't regret what I made, but I realized that nigga's not just like because part of that nigga shit. If you watch that interview in full, is him using his finances as a manipulation tactic to keep whoever this mystery woman is in line. And that's fucking weird. Um my clip is amazing though. But that is weird and manipulative. And I just feel like there's a lot of like I haven't kicked you niggas back in a while. And I just want that out there. That like if you niggas piss me off because what the way that I that to discuss this situation it makes it more difficult because I thought the niggas was on one, but I just got to kick niggas backs in because that's what that nigga's doing, and I be not feeling bad for you like rich motherfuckers because even tying that to the camp and the thug thing is nigga if there is nothing else that I feel like this platform is pushing. It's like, bro, be your fucking self so that she and the nigga over there, he or they, whoever you fucking on, or whoever you hang out with, whoever you engage with, should learn to fuck with you for you. And you should fuck with you for you. You niggas out here just fucking leading and leading with love and money. Not even no ain't no love and light. It's just finances and money and being like, what if they don't like me? What if they be trying to take? Well, I don't know, nigga. Maybe you should have led with your fucking name as opposed to a goddamn brick of money when you walked up to this fucking stranger, doof.
I mean, this, I know you saying be yourself. Part of me wants to say don't be yourself because you don't even know who the fuck you are. So figure out who you are and who you want to be first, and then work your hardest to be whoever you choose to be. Y'all not choosing to be anybody. You're just fitting into an insecure template because you went from being a doof that was good at one thing and they gave you some money and that enabled you to continue to not use your brain. It's similar to like I don't know if you saw it. I think I might have sent it to you, but I don't know if you saw the Duval posted some trans individual that was talking about like when's the right time to tell people that you're trans. She's like,
Mm,
I try to tell people off rip, like, and great job. You wouldn't be able to tell. I mean, granted, I only saw it from the face up, but from the face up, it's like, oh, okay, they did a good job. You wouldn't be able to tell. So they're like, I try to be honest when I come across people, like if I'm dating them, getting to know them, etc. But like, when's the right time to tell them? Because if I'm minding my business with my friends and I'm just enjoying myself out of the club or bar or something, and people come up to me randomly, like, am I supposed to tell them in that moment or like that was part of the conversation? But they went on to explain how some, I think it was an NBA dude or like some basketball player, whatever. I don't know if they said NBA or not, but there's some basketball player came in like really trying to talk to them, trying to get their number, trying to get them to go home with them, leading with the money that they had and like I'm injured right now. Just like giving them the usual I'm a basketball nigga with some money story to get you to come home with me and like really pressing to get you to come home with me. And then saw later like exchange Instagrams with them and they saw Instagrams like, oh fuck you, I didn't know you were trans. That's not what I'm like having this visceral reaction to it. But I'm highlighting that because that's common as far as I'm somebody, or at least I think that I'm somebody. I don't know who I am, but the money, the material, this title, this whatever makes me think I'm who I am. And I'm also leading with being horny and I'm inebriated from whatever substance or substances that I'm on because I'm coping just to be able to socially exist in this environment. And I think that's what I'm supposed to do because of said title. That I'm talking to a trans individual and I didn't even take into account to even ask or to just really pay attention or to actually get to know this person and have a conversation with. I just went straight to, I'm attracted to you. I'm this nigga. I got that. Come home with me tonight. And then y'all end up in fucked up situations, whether it's with somebody that you didn't expect to be with or having a child with someone that you probably shouldn't have had children with, whatever the case is. Like, you end up in those situations because you didn't find out who you were as a person. Because you might be into that. And it's okay if you are into that. You can do it Howard your shit and ain't nobody tripping. Like you can be Malik Yoba out here and just be honest about I like what I like and it's okay. But it takes some awareness to be able to sit in that and recognize that that's who you are, as opposed to leading with your insecurity that you don't know is insecurity that you're leading with, and you put yourself in precarious situations. So is I would like us to learn who we are and choose that from an aware, mindful perspective before we put ourselves out in the world. But that gets taught at home. That gets
yeah,
taught as a foundational thing.
yeah. I think they're I know everybody's got different challenges and shit in life, but I think for that, like you can't I don't knock anybody trying to be in sports or be in entertainment in general. Like, but I think there has to be like some cultivated, like, yeah, like you said, self-worth and identity, because you can't use this thing to be your complete and utter identifier. Because that's how motherfuckers
Mhm.
like, word to the field of like sports psychology, but like that's how motherfuckers end up like it was something I was watching. They talked about like even the suicide rate of athletes after their careers, because it's like you lived everything from, let's say you start doing some shit like pop. Like I was late to I started playing football at 13. But it's like you
Mhm.
start motherfuckers start playing as soon as you can. It's niggas is babies. You 6, 7. You've been doing this shit from 7. And then if you're a fucking elite, if you're the most elite, you might sniff your 30s. And then they say, all right, man, hang it up. This has been everything you are as a person. And everybody has cultivated this is your only thing. And you've never had the time or opportunity to be like, nigga, what is your favorite color? What is your favorite like music? Why is this your favorite song? Like, oh man, he just be so real. What the fuck? The nigga said eep op oops eeps. And it was a really great beat. What are you talking about? Like those things matter as far as like creating you as a person, like creating these things as things you do, not as things you are. And you can, maybe cut yourself down on like, I don't know, man, some of these bullshit interactions. Because some of the shit is youth, but some of this shit is like, you know, really fucked up, like person to person shit.
Yeah, it's a like a conversation. I actually had that conversation this week in conversation group, whatever that I lead for therapists. So for context, I don't know if you, I think I've told you before, but also telling the listeners, part of my directorial duties is twice a month, the practicum student therapist that we have or the associate therapist that we have, I lead a conversation in a particular topic of mental health and like help them understand how to incorporate that or be better as therapists. So like
Mm-hmm.
teaching the teacher, so to speak. But um, this week I was talking about black male allyship. So like how we can be better therapists for black males. And I opened up using, a clip I found on social media of this dude spitting his freestyle about the shit that he went through in his life. And
Awesome.
like I was showing like I think I shared that with you. Um, but it's like even as therapists, like I'm asking the room, and it's really only like a couple of black people in there. Of course, in our field, it's not a lot of black people. It's mostly white women or non-black identifying women. And it's like, yeah, all of y'all listen to rap music, but how many of you actually listen to the message? Like, I know it makes you feel a particular way when you listen to it, but do you really hear what story they're telling in the music? And I'm saying that's important for us as therapists because we should be able to hear it. I played you this clip that's maybe 2 minutes of a freestyle, and he touched on six different topics within mental health that we would need to pick up on and address. So if I'll say, like for us as therapists, if sometimes we struggle with catching the themes of what we hear in people's lives or how we see people and the behaviors that they display or the things that they participate in, if we sometimes don't catch that shit until they're in our therapeutic room, of course the average person ain't picking up on that shit in themselves, let alone in other people. Job security for us, because that just means y'all continue traumatizing each other. So I guess thanks in some capacity for keeping me relevant. But like we misinterpret or miscomprehend. Like we talked about misinterpreting or not perceiving properly the Bible or properly perceiving racial or political situations. The same thing happens when it comes to identity. We don't properly perceive or understand or comprehend our own identity, let alone someone else's identity. So it's a comprehension problem that happens with us in our society. Like we're doing something wrong as a people to where we can't help the next generation better perceive and comprehend just themselves and the society around them. Like we gotta be able to make some changes in there because it's not working.
I think I think a chunk of that, uh if I had to find like some key thread,
Mm-hmm.
would still be a bit of the usual operating from a space of survival, and survival doesn't give you
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity and time to like cultivate your full self. Because your mom and your dad, if you're in a, especially like coming from black communities, like you want motherfuckers to be able to eat, you want them to be able to survive the next day. You might have to work some extra shifts, but you're not always like now it's becoming more normalized to process like, how was your day? And the kid go, it was okay. And should I have that shit in therapy? And it's like, well, what is okay? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we might sit like, it was the other day. I had a client, I like fucking with my teenagers, because you teach them like the language. It's I don't know that it's always easier to do it with adults, but like the conversation is like, you're a little less hard and you have lived a little less life. So it's more nuanced of like, well, what is okay? And it's like, well, I'm good. And so kind of learning and pulling that apart because okay looks like, nah, man, this is your normal day, but none of this shit was really okay, actually. You're
Yeah.
not okay. You actually are, you know, I can't talk about the business, but we are tiptoeing, we are kind of tiptoeing and we stepping now. We were tiptoeing. We're stepping into actually, my boy, you're not even really mad. Like this is actually a good chunk of sadness and some other shit that we're processing well that another space that I have grown an interest in, like black men and depression is like a thing. And like nigga, this is anger because anger is just as easy. Like we can whether socialize, whatever, you can get to anger rather quick. But there's a lot of really murky pain waters here. Like there's a little bit more depth over here. There's some actually jagged rocks in this motherfucker over here, like for some very legit reasons. And I think that kind of like all ties into like as a community, we haven't had a ton of experience in mass about trying to like unpack that shit. So you don't even know, it's like a motherfucker getting jumped. You have your own personalized experiences just with life. You have your personalized experience with your parents. What you consider normal, as this is how it's always been, is a fucking trauma response to some shit your great granny went through, and just experientially of how she like engaged with everybody. Heaven forbid you want to drop in some epigenetic piece into that. It's 50,000 different things. So just going around even pretending that you have like a normal response, what is that? Now, I know everybody else don't have the time of day to get his meta in their fucking head, like, this profession allots us the opportunity to do, but that is something to at least kind of half-ass carry in the back of your mind when you interact with a motherfucker. Does everybody have the opportunity to like get that deep? No, because this motherfucker might be playing with you. And unfortunately, we are all in a survival-ish space because I can only do so much because if you are in between me and whatever I might not be able to fucking figure that out. But for yourself, you can, and you owe it to yourself and like those around you to
Yeah.
do that.
Mm,
We have questions. We actually
we
have some
do.
backup questions, so my fault. Um, it's question time. Time for y'all to ask us to answer shit. Question time. Um, this is whew. All right.
Mhm.
Let's let's start kind of easy. Is this easy?
It's all easy for us
All right, question time. Why do you
because
outside
I said so. God damn it, that's
yeah,
why.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I haven't finished this question, but I feel like just from the amount, I want to go with that. Question time. Outside of the easy go-to slash scapegoat answer of the patriarchy, oh fuck. Um, it's hard for us to see each other as human beings with the same basic needs. Old wave and new wave feminism fought for equal rights. Women now make more than men in the workplace in some capacities. And with all that fighting, it's so hard to get them to reciprocate intimacy and appreciate men. Um, there was two pictures here of back when September is taking man on a date on a date month. Sent this picture to a friend or two. I will not be participating. And then I guess sent it to a dude. The dude was like, "Yeah, I'd love to take me on a date. Like that'd be great." Two examples of many similar responses from men and women. It's sad that all the women who responded had similar replies of Exhibit A, basically like "fuck no." Meanwhile, the men simply wished and hoped someone would. Exhibit B simply just asked. A woman sent that, by the way. So
Mhm.
just to cut you off right there. That was a lady.
Right.
Um,
I mean, that answer is kind of similar to what we talked about today, at least how I'm framing it. It's hard for us to humanize each other because we don't know how to humanize ourselves. We don't see ourselves as actual people. We see ourselves as commodities. We see ourselves as vessels trying to acquire a goal or material or a particular lifestyle or status or persona, but we don't see ourselves as humans. kind of like the identity conversation that we just kind of wrapped up with. So it's not uncommon that we're not going to be able to humanize each other. That's part of the reason why we have a job, because people have so many experiences in their life where they neglect themselves and they don't even realize that they're neglecting themselves. That of course they're going to neglect the needs, the humanization, the emotional expression, the whatever of another individual, strictly because they focused on how they feel, right? Like the most somebody may pay attention to is how they feel, and that feeling is going to be an extreme, and that extreme is probably a culmination or accumulation of compounded trauma or compounded stress or compounded whatever the fuck. So I'm really not even seeing it for what it is. I'm just seeing, if we take on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm only seeing 9 and 10 because that's where I've built myself up to see these extremes. So I can't see somebody else's 10 because the only shit that I can see is my 9 and 10. And that's all I give a fuck about. So take a man on the date. Fuck no, because fuck these niggas and
Mhm.
this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Because I haven't processed my own shit to realize how, in every experience that I've been in, I played a major role in why shit didn't go properly, and accepting that accountability will help me humanize myself, have some sort of self compassion, which makes it easier for me to have compassion for the next person. So, shameless plug, take your ass to therapy. That way you can heal yourself because it helped make it easier for you to be willing to see the healing or the need to heal in someone else.
Yeah, I feel like I'll throw something on that is probably just not even probably it is a remixed version of what was just said. Like if I wanted to, I mean the scapegoat answer patriarchy is pervasive. It's in there. Um, it is that it is all the social yeah that was the right word, social ways we've been conditioned to like view one another. We look at each other as resources, especially if I'm going by the traditional, social values. Like taking a man on a date is like, fucking cardinal sin number one. And if you're gonna take this actual, good fucking recommendation of going take your ass to therapy, you might learn a thing or two that you don't view same way. The criticism of men is like, you don't view women as people, like it's just a hole and a fat ass, big titties. Um, this man is not a person. This man is something that means to an end. Like, you might do all the little good genes or whatever, but you're supposed to be financially viable. That is your main asset, and not viewing someone as a person, not taking some of these things that we have progressed as a society and really readjusting these ways we interact with each other, not romanticizing the old romantic fucking dynamics that if you look at them like why you romanticize them, they're not exactly the healthiest. Like women used to be more modest. Women used to listen to your ass and you didn't have to be a good person because you were higher on the social ladder. So you could, grab Margaret's ass because she's your secretary and what the fuck is she gonna do about it? And she's not gonna tell your wife. That's what y'all are like hearkening to. And the same with like women is like, well, yeah, your pop was a drunk. He was wildly depressed. Um, uh, uh, what was that movie? I use that shit all the time. Fences. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
are actively talking about living in a fences relationship. This nigga is depressed as hell for real, angry, projecting his traumas onto his son out of fear because I had a goal and dream in life and it was taken from me because society is dog shit. Um, and the word to this administration and the way that it tries to like rewrite history, motherfuckers don't like look into like what things really were, like the nuance of it, the history of it. This is the great American way. And old Curly is coming around. That was old Curly was a fucking rampant racist piece of shit. And like, yeah, like if Captain America doesn't go into the ice, like great American hero, but Cap probably came out of the ice and was like, "Fuck, is this nigga standing in the middle of New York City, telling me what to do." Like that was who they were. So if you don't have that fucking that blueprint for why you have the perspectives you have, and you've never unpacked that shit, you walk around thinking, "Yeah, why would I take a man on a date, bitch?" Because everybody is like in a better financial space. Also, he just deserves it because he's a good person and you fucking like him. And you have a good job, and we're trying to be on equal shit. So that's why that the same shit. That was a more wordy fucking addition to this same thing. Um,
You know, and y'all will take y'all dog on a date and have a birthday party for your puppy, but you won't take a man on a date that you expect
Whoa.
partnership from.
Yeah, and also
Crazy.
motherfuckers have no idea like what love is. I said it once, I said it again. Love is a giving space. So if you've never really given, or if it was like a bunch of you can take the love that you give in other forms of relationship. If you've never attributed that in your actual romantic relationship, I don't know that it's love. I don't need
No.
my mom doesn't have to ask me to do cool shit. I didn't really have to like I don't have like motherfuckers don't read your mind, but like the way that I'm hop up to help her or my aunt or my sister the same way they would do it for me. The way that you, oh my God, that's my friend, my bestie. I would travel the ends of the earth for her. That nigga licked your asshole. So I don't know. Maybe just give it a shot with him, you know? Mm-hmm. Uh,
Go figure. I mean, I say it all the time, and I see it all the time. People expect shit that they can't provide.
and that's why that's just why, look, I didn't even get on y'all ass the way I play. Like, don't, whatever. Meet 9-year-old college freshman making history. Um, 9-year-old prodigy in Pennsylvania, trading recess for college lectures. Aiden Wilkins of Montgomery County, who was already in high school, who was already a high school sophomore, has begun taking courses at nearby Uranus's college to supplement his studies and help prepare him for his ultimate goal of becoming a pediatric neurosurgeon. This was a couple weeks ago that this question came through. But although his intelligence is amazing, is it healthy for a child to go through college at 9? Does it have a negative impact on socialization skills that he doesn't get to play or interact with children his own age? Or would his mind not even allow him to want to engage with toys and make believe with children his age? Uh, does this breed a life of isolation that harms his future due to the lack of socializing and connection with others because he can't hang out with his peers in school and he won't be able to work until legal age? Question. How do you support a child that's gifted without hurting their future on an emotional and social level?
I think that
Um,
kind of depends on how their ecosystem functions. Because there are some people that may realize the kid is gifted, so they're pushing them through an adult system quickly so that they can monetize their talent. And that's not beneficial to the kid at all. And then you have some kids that are they genius level, but their parents are like, yeah, out in the world or at school, he's this, but when he comes home, that nigga's 9, and we treat him like he's 9, and we let him be a kid like he's 9, and he'll do all these other things, and then we encourage him to play with kids his age or put him in extracurricular activities or play video games, whatever the fuck. So it depends on the influences around them because I don't care how intellectually sound you are at a young age, you may be advanced, but science is science, and your body still has a whole bunch of developing to do. And some of that shit can only be learned socially. So yeah, I may need to challenge you scholastically because you are severely advanced, but you may be socially inept. And I have to challenge you how to be better socially for your age, not necessarily, for your intellect. Yeah, everybody ain't gonna fucking smart guy this shit. That shit don't always work out like that. Of like some advanced kid having his siblings around to make sure that he's straight, but he still got to deal with grown big kid shit from a little kid perspective, and it just blends well and it's cute and quirky. Like that don't always work like that. You have to have the right ecosystem around you to help keep him grounded so that he knows how to apply it properly, but also develop emotionally, socially, um, physically, etc., the way that he and or she needs to. So I can't really say it's detrimental or beneficial. It kind of depends on the system that's around them, but it can have its drawbacks if it's done wrong. Because, like we just mentioned in the last question, we see each other as commodity. There's plenty of parents out there, whether their kid is a genius or super talented and a child actor or whatever the case is, they see that child's ability as a commodity and they don't let them develop properly. They're trying to push them through to make a living. So it depends.
um, I like taking any opportunity to throw some comic book shit in a motherfucking conversation, especially if it's remotely therapeutic. Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Bruce Banner, are all legitimate fucking like out of this world geniuses. They're also like for a long time, depending on which version of them you see in the comics or whatever, are socially inept. Like they are in weird spaces socially. Like Tony Stark does a lot of that Playboy narcissist shit. But all of them, if you look at them in a certain way, they even talked about that in the fucking Fantastic Four thing about how awkward it seemed like Reed Richards was with like emotions and social interactions, because that's in a lot of variations part of his character because he's always been so smart that it has isolated him from people in the world. And I think that there's a part of that that goes into if you were, you know, put in spaces like not just like you're so smart because it's not like he understands emotions. He understands whatever science shit he's got going on. So to
Hmm.
piggyback off your point, you would if that was my kid, I'm gonna for sure support your academic pursuits, but you are a child and you are hyper like we talked way early in the beginning of this. Some think we're making fun of fucking uh like the how the how kids in session kids can use iPads and laptops and shit that I wasn't fucking doing that shit at 5, but the way that I can communicate and engage with other people, I work with them on like they don't have those skills at that level. So I think that there is a potential for that to be with this kid. I don't know this kid from Canada, I don't know his life, but that would be something that I would be hyper focused on as a parent because I don't give a fuck how much astrophysics you go in this fucking classroom and learn at 10. You should go hang out and blow snot bubbles with these other 10-year-olds because you're not grown. And I definitely wouldn't want you to be outside of a classroom in this space socially because these are adults. The way that they're supposed to be able to understand and process emotions, the way just from like a chemical or biological standpoint, like you're not mature enough and there's still growth and maturity for you to have. And that's going to impact you differently. That might impact your intelligence differently, how you perceive things. You know, whatever the fuck he knows, I forget what it said, like his particular science, but you might be great in biology motherfucker, if we get in here and talk about the political theory of John Locke, you don't fucking know that because you'd be like, well, why are they mean to each other? We're all doing math. No, nigga, it's niggas out here ready to fucking tear heads asunder because power corrupts and what the fuck that looks like. Like, you might not understand what it looks like to the disintegration of a human spirit. Like, that's not your shit. You just know math real well. So I think, for such a unique situation, I would be trying to do everything I could to maintain the childlike growth of my kid. Like, yeah, let's go to fucking Disneyland because I don't give a fuck unless you open your mouth and tell me you just hate it, nigga. You like cartoons, like you do. Like you can now you might like Avengers hits harder for you because maybe you can understand the dynamics of why Cap Shield shouldn't work in like physics, but you're like, fuck it, vibranium. Like we could do that, but you're a child, and I want you to have as childlike of an experience. You know what? Wakanda, that motherfucker. They're all geniuses. Yeah, I'm gonna give whatever they do in Wakanda. That's super black, but they're all geniuses, and they was all cool niggas because they had regular lives. So regular, super rich, regal, genius lives. Wakanda, that bitch. Yeah, we got there. Took a minute, but
Yeah. I mean, even sticking with another cartoon, it made me think of Dr. Stone. Like he was just a genius his entire life, but it's good when he comes back basically 4,000 years later and has to try and save the world, so to speak, because it's the same brilliant mind he's had since he was a preschool kid. But he's also very matter of fact and socially inept in certain ways because he didn't have that type of nurturing. Science was the thing that was my go to no matter what. And so that's all I know. When it comes to connecting to friends, I'm slowly learning how to have emotions and connect to people and things of that nature because I've never had that opportunity. So that social component is important. I mean, we talk about being brainy, so to speak. You know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is there for a particular reason. When you have the stages of development, they're there for a particular reason, whether it's, Piaget or whoever the fuck you want to look at. Like
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
has Everybody has these different aspects or stages of development for a reason, and that's an aspect of intellect and science as well. So yeah, you're good at math, but you don't understand development. So you may be a genius in this one area, but on average, you're still stupid to a degree.
Yeah, you're wildly, immature. I would pursue my child's like educational pursuits, but yeah, I can't really speak to what that looks like, but I would be hyper, I'll say this, I would be hyper focused on facilitating a social environment for them to grow and progress. Because no, I don't believe that like because you're, intellectually able to, pursue college classes that like it's just so much of my experience was going and doing things as a kid, like and as an adolescent, and like having adolescent experiences. I just made that joke earlier about being on the blacktop and shit like that. Like I feel like there is a big risk that you put the kid in a bubble. And so like all that, this motherfucker might have world changing, you know, brilliance mentally, and you fuck around and create another Elon Musk who is like socially inept and I don't know, doesn't like niggas. So just I would be hyper aware about that. Like be able to, if I can't put you directly in school for classes because you're so advanced, I don't know, man. We gotta do some magnet shit. Join a team. You need teammates. You need social activities. You need to go to the school dance. You need to get nervous around your first asking a girl out. You need those things. You need to develop those things so you don't become some just Silicon Valley billionaire that starts to create weird uh AI things and oligarchies and shit like that. So, you know, thanks for listening. Thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. And I don't know, man. Fuck with y'all. Appreciate it.
What was
All
the
right, bye
middle
now.
question?
Yeah, pew pew or
I
whatever.
mean, I was worried that that was too soon based on old boy getting his cat paid.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
Some of y'all
They'll
do.
do some shit by next week to talk about. I was about to carry it over, but I shit you not. This
The
motherfucker
universe
do something.
provides.
This motherfucker do something every not even every week. Like Trump and them do something different. So I shit you not. We'll have something else to talk about. Send us stuff. Actually, I'll put that in the wrap this up. There's questions, but also topics because I saw something in there that I was going to use as a question, but I'm going to save it because it was a topic. I forgot we'd be requesting those. If you got some shit and you be like, I think those guys are funny or I like their perspective on it. I don't fucking know, man. Let us know and we'll do it. We'll talk about it.
Yep.
All right, bye.